Hello, folks. Welcome to the Small Business Series. And this week, we continue with the topic of small business startups. And today, we ask the question, why do business owners succeed anyway? Hi, my name is Richard Fontenay, and welcome aboard to this podcast. And I am extremely pleased to have you join us today. Now, if you're so inclined, please subscribe to this channel, and thank you for doing so. Now let's dive right into today's topic. Why do small businesses succeed? Well, I've had the privilege of working with several successful small and medium-sized businesses owners. Many of them own family businesses, and most have been around for more than 50 years. For some of the owners, it's time for the inevitable transition. Some will sell, while others will close their doors. The point is, they're successful business owners, not because they are biggest on the block, but because they have learned how to keep their business nimble and responsive within their marketplace. Now, here's my take on why these business owners succeeded while others did not. Number one, they're in it for the long haul. Now, successful small business owners work extremely hard and are highly engaged in their business's day-to-day operations. They are resilient, have a positive attitude, and have an optimistic outlook. Sure, they face adversity, but somehow they keep bouncing back. This is their life's work, and they are very passionate about it. For instance, take Logie Shoes, a family-owned business. It was a fixture in the downtown Regina for 108 years. Harold purchased the business in 1978. And he and his son, Kelly, ran it for over 35 years. Now, both Harold and Kelly were heavily engaged in the business community. And Harold, at the ripe age of 93, graced the store every day until its closure in 2013. They were in it for the long haul. Number two, they build strong customer loyalty. Now, successful small business owners fully understand that customers are the lifeblood of their business. They know most customers by name and treat them with utmost respect. They continually strive to clarify their customer needs and wants, and work hard to meet them. And when they can't, they suggest where the goods or services might be available in their community. Now, they have a will do what it takes attitude when it comes to customer service. I know of a business owner who regularly meets with her customers for coffee to garner feedback and how she could improve her business and service. It doesn't take much of her time, but she also gains valuable insight into what is working and what she could do to continue delighting her customers. You can't buy customer loyalty. You really have to earn it. Now, here's another story. A grocer spread peanuts around his store. At the end of the day, he went around his outlet to see where customers spent most of their time. He then moved slow-moving products to where his customers spent most of their time. On Saturdays, though, he sat down with the randomly selected customers that graced his store at the time. And why did he do that? Well, to get their feedback on the goods and services he offered. Successful owners build strong customer loyalty, and both these examples show ways of doing just that. Number 3, they have a stable staff. Now, small businesses employ few people. Many employees are members of the same family, and others who are not family are really treated like family. Sometimes family members squabble, and this happens among employees of successful small businesses as well. But like healthy families, they know how to patch up and make up. Ultimately, it's their love and respect for each other that keeps them together. Now, is it always a bed of roses like that? Absolutely not. Take this example. It was a family-owned business. 2 sons, among others, worked in the business. The family squabbled all the time. Their roles were not clear, and they brought everything home with them. It was hard on the family, at home, as well as in their business. They were at the point of breakup and required intervention. Fortunately, the mother recognized that they had a problem. So she asked for intervention. Everyone in that group wanted to see the business succeed. And once roles were clarified and communication strengthened and vision and values refined, the family found themselves back on track and their business blossomed. So the moral of this story is that successful businesses recognize when they have staffing problems, and they search for solutions. They learn to build stability and loyalty within their staff. Number 4, they weather shifting economic winds. Now, large companies take a long time to turn their ship around when they are battered from an economic storm. Small companies, on the other hand, can shift their direction quickly. They adapt to change fast. And they ride on the coattails of big business engines when the economy is on the upswing. Now, they may not achieve the same level of earnings as their big brothers, but in the downtimes, they can outperform them because they are much nimbler. We have seen chain stores at our local mall come and go. But John, who owns the corner confectionery, still greets us with a smile and a warm hello. He's struggling, but he's still there. But you say, what about the impact of COVID-19 on small business? Now, that is an excellent question. The pandemic played havoc on both small and larger businesses, and it had a significant impact on businesses worldwide. Here's what I've learned about the Canadian and United States situations for small businesses. In Canada, the onset of the pandemic saw a drastic drop in GDP, with the economy contracting by about 18% between March and April 2020. Small businesses, which make up 98% of all employer businesses in Canada, were particularly affected. And by the second quarter of 2021, small businesses were less likely to take on more debt, keep afloat with liquid assets to operate, and were more likely to experience a decrease in profitability and sales. The exit rate for businesses in 22-23 financial year reached about 15%, the highest it's been since the 2008 global financial crisis. Many businesses that were propped up by government during the pandemic are now struggling to survive. In the United States, as of May 2021, compared to January 2020, 30% of small businesses were closed, indicating the severe impact of the pandemic on the sector, or the small business sector. Now, these figures indicate that failure rate of small businesses during the pandemic was significantly higher compared to other years, largely due to the economic disruptions caused by COVID-19. Now, let's compare these findings with the larger businesses. The impact of COVID-19 on large businesses in Canada and the United States was also significant. And although the failure rate was not as high as for small businesses, they were still significant. Here's what the data shows. In Canada, business insolvencies rose to their highest level in 36 years in 2023, with a 41.4% increase from the previous year. And this followed a period where more than 50% of Canadian companies lost at least 1/5 of their income. And during this occurred during the pandemic. For the United States, while specific data on large business failures is not readily available, the pandemic has caused widespread economic disruptions. Large businesses, especially those in industries heavily affected by the pandemic, such as travel and hospitality, faced significant challenges. Now, it's important to note that while some large businesses did fail, many were able to survive due to their larger cash reserves, better access to credit, and more robust infrastructure to adapt to changing market conditions. Additionally, the government interventions and policy measures played a crucial role in preventing a higher rate of business failures. Now, is this a contradiction from what I said earlier? Smaller businesses can outperform larger ones in the rough waters of an economic downturn? Well, it seems so. But remember, COVID-19 was a major blow to the economy and an extraordinary event that impacted everyone. And in that situation, mom-and-pop businesses had a harder time surviving. Many did survive, but as the statistics show, many didn't. Indeed, it was a difficult time for most, if not all, businesses. Number 5, they naturally find their niche within the marketplace. Successful businesses have the uncanny ability to scan the marketplace and discover a niche that fills a customer wants or needs. Very few owners wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to open my store today, without having thought long and hard about how the business will fill a need for the customers. Last week, I mentioned to my friend Robert Brigden's line, find a problem, search for a solution, and solve the problem. You know, that's what successful business leaders do. You know, growing naturally means knowing your marketplace and organically growing with it. Number 6, they watch their pennies. Now, because the owners operate small businesses, they normally don't have a large reserve, so they have to keep a close eye on how they spend their hard-earned cash. They often squirrel away funds in the good times to help ease the pain in bad times. They upgrade modestly and spend less on fancy offices. And if you look at small businesses, the owners don't live in great big corner offices. They often live in the back room in a small office. But they still project a respectable and comfortable presence. They also manage debt with a keen eye on the bottom line. You know, successful small business owners have a good relationship with their bank manager. They also know that they don't have the capital resources to take on large debt. This is not to say that they're risk averse. They do take risks, but they take them cautiously. Since they don't have the capital wherewithal to leverage, they keep their debt-to-asset ratio balanced. They know bankers like a healthy cash flow and are willing to lend owners money when the balance sheet is positive. They also know that bankers quickly can withdraw or call on their loans when things become shaky. Small business owners keep a keen eye on their debt and a wiry eye on their bankers. And finally, number 7, they diversify their product offerings. You know, successful small businesses don't have to be big to diversify. Owners keep up with what's happening in their marketplace and search for goods and services that complement their core products. Even those who specialize seek complementary products. Now, I'm not talking about those who operate a small general store that has everything in it from soup to nuts. There's nothing wrong with those stores. They're required in the community. But I'm talking about those who run outlets that have one staple item. For example, ladies' shoes, which are balanced with accessories like purses, scarves, and gloves. Now, since inventory is limited, they can quickly revamp the look and the feel of their store and restock it with more current or different items. Now, in today's marketplace, though, there's something else impacting small businesses. What I'm talking about here is online shopping. Yes, it's real, and it's affecting small businesses. However, there are small businesses that are really thriving in this new economy. Why? Well, because they have kept their eye on the winds of change we talked about a little earlier. They have upgraded their technology so that they can reach beyond the local market. E.F. Schumacher, in his book about economics as if people mattered, said, "Small is beautiful." And yes, small businesses can be beautiful, but to enjoy its beauty, owners must keep to those things that make them successful, but be open to the changing business landscape. So there you have it, folks. my 7 points for why businesses succeed. Business owners find ways to keep at their business for the long haul. They have a stable staff, build strong customer relationships, have a niche within their marketplace, keep their eye on the winds of change, and watch their pennies and diversify their products and services. Now, is this a definitive list? Heck no. There are many other requirements to run a successful business, and we touched upon them, many of them, in our previous podcasts. However, if you want to be successful, you do want to consider the 7 points I outlined in this podcast. Lock them into your business building psyche, and you will not go wrong. Now, before I sign off, can these principles I went over apply to the world of internet marketing or affiliate marketing? Well, I believe so. For instance, affiliate marketing is taking off as a way to supplement income and as a business in its own right. Affiliate marketers need to be resilient in order to stay on course for the long haul. They have to have strong relationships with their clients. They need to keep their eye on the changing circumstances that are occurring within their niche. They need to ensure their pennies are spent wisely, and over time, they need to look towards diversifying their products and services. You see, sound business principles apply to both the bricks and mortar and affiliate marketing businesses. Sometimes a little different, but the principles always remain the same. Now, as I mentioned in my previous podcasts, my approach to business startups and running a business is more about learning about yourself than the technical aspects of the business. Now, to be sure, the technical aspects are important, but knowing where you stand before jumping into the business of business is critically important. Now, let's meet again next week when we'll ask the question, are you ready to start your business? In the meantime, remember that to be successful in business, you need to make a difference. You need to define your purpose and build your business on positive values so that you can make a real difference in your community. Also, please consider subscribing to this channel below. It certainly will help you and will help the YouTube algorithm. And I do thank you for doing so. Finally, remember to check out the resources in the description below. And pay specific attention to BizWally, a coaching process for brick and mortar and internet marketing businesses. So I leave you for now. Continue becoming your best self as you search for your true self. And we'll meet again next week. Bye for now.